Before we dive into how one of Florida's most brutal street executions went down, let me tell you about the woman who helped make it happen, and how she almost walked away from it all. Alicia Andrews didn't pull the trigger. She never touched a gun that night, but she's the reason Julio Foolio ended up in a kill zone with no way out. And when she sat in that courtroom, she was doing her makeup, laughing with her lawyers, acting like this was just another day. But the prosecution had other plans. Let's paint the picture of what actually happened that night in Tampa. It was Foolio's birthday. He's outside a hotel, passenger seat, probably feeling untouchable.
All of that gunfire filling the dark, early morning hours with booming concussion and bright, flashing muzzle flashes as these high-pressured and high-powered rounds flooded the atmosphere in front of that Dodge Charger.
Then, out of nowhere, multiple shooters pull up rifles, a Glock with a switch, the whole arsenal. Foolio's trapped. He tries to scramble to the back seat, but a 5.56 round tears through his heart. More shots hit his back, his liver. There was no surviving this. This wasn't a shootout, this was an execution, planned down to the second. And Alicia, she was the one making sure they knew exactly where to find him. Now, if you don't know the history, let me catch you up real quick. This wasn't some random hit. This was years in the making. 6 Block versus ATK/1200, a war that's left bodies dropping on both sides for years. Foolio had been mocking dead members in diss tracks, videos, the whole nine. AK had already tried to take him out before once in Houston, and a year earlier when shooter Sean Gathright caught him and shot him in the foot.
Go retaliate or something. They're sitting up here rapping, but that's y'all homeboy. Just do what y'all gotta do.
They missed twice. They weren't missing again. And here's the thing, Alicia knew all of this. She'd lost one of her own homies in this same war. Text messages from 2021 showed her saying ATK needed to slide harder, that she hated Foolio, that he needed to die.
Girl, I don't like Foolio. Ugly ass. He needs to die.
So when the defense tried to say she didn't know what was going down, the receipts said otherwise. So how does a woman who isn't even a shooter end up charged with murder? Let me break down her role. Alicia and her boyfriend Isaiah Chance drove to Tampa and became the eyes on the ground. They followed Foolio around the city, updating the shooters on every move he made. She even helped him book the airman, literally set the trap herself. The prosecution proved all of this with cameras, license plate readers, cell tower pings. They tracked the whole crew from Jacksonville to Tampa. They had Alicia on surveillance at a McDonald's hours before the murder. They had Sean Gathright on his home security system loading bags before leaving for Tampa. The defense tried to claim Alicia thought this was just a regular trip, that she didn't know the shooters. But then the evidence started piling up. Here's where it gets damning. Alicia and Isaiah spotted Foolio outside that hotel. Within seconds, the shooters pulled up. Coincidence? Not even close, because investigators found something critical. Alicia had shared her live location with the shooters. Just minutes before they arrived, she was literally broadcasting Foolio's exact position in real time. And it wasn't just her. Sean Gathright had been trying to set Foolio up through another woman to get his urban address. Text messages showed they were actively hunting him all night, desperate to get that location locked in. When the shooting happened, it was chaos. One shooter tried to run afterward and got shot by police. Cops recovered photos of burner phones and the actual guns used in the hit. Now let's talk about who testified, because this is where Alicia's whole world started crumbling. First witness, a woman who was inside the hotel with Foolio when the shooting happened. Plot twist, she used to date Trayvon, the brother of Young and Ace from the ATK side, before he got killed. Later, she switched sides and started running with Foolio's crew. She saw the whole setup unfold, but the real damage came from Alicia's own best friend taking the stand. Prosecutors pulled up those old texts from 2021, Alicia talking reckless about wanting Foolio dead, saying ATK needed to handle business. Her friend confirmed everything. Then the prosecution brought in a gang detective who laid out the entire timeline of the 6 Block versus ATK war. They played diss tracks, Who I Smoke, with lyrics referencing previous attempts on Foolio's life. They showed Foolio's own videos mocking dead ATK members. They even referenced Young and Ace's Game Over track that seemed to celebrate the hit. This wasn't just a murder trial anymore. This was a full autopsy of a street war. By this point, the defense was drowning. They tried arguing that just because Alicia knew the shooters doesn't mean she was involved. But the video evidence showed her following Foolio around Tampa all night long. Then they found her D-Miz with other ATK members.
Was there evidence in Miss Andrews' phone of her communications with ATK Keese and direct messaging and the Instagram?
Yes, ma'am.
Was there screenshots of those communications between this defendant and ATK Keese in that device?
Yes, ma'am.
She'd been in contact with K Shorty, one of Foolio's ex-homies who flipped sides. The connections were undeniable. At one point, the defense tried to shift blame onto Aliat Ravon's ex, claiming she had motive. That move went nowhere fast. When detectives detectives first brought Alicia in, they came prepared. Phone records, video footage, knowledge of Isaiah's personal beef with Foolio. They laid it all out in front of her. Alicia played dumb, claimed she didn't know anything. But on Gathwright's phone, they found photos taken outside clubs Foolio visited that night.
You were aware that Aaliyah was with Charles Jones when he was shot and killed?
Yeah.
All right. And that was despite the fact that Aaliyah dated someone that Charles Jones rapped about killing.
Okay.
You aware of that?
Yeah.
All right.
They found texts from shooter Murphy saying my thirst is quenched after the murder. They even had evidence showing Alicia smiled while detectives explained her role in the killing. She wasn't cooperating, probably because she was protecting Isaiah, the father of her unborn child. She was pregnant during the murder and gave birth while locked up. Detectives told her Isaiah was using her, but she still wouldn't crack.
You were at the hotel where Foolio was murdered at the exact same time that he was murdered. Okay? Sweetie, the reason we're so...
But then came the moment that changed everything. When Alicia finally took the stand, she admitted Isaiah had been beating her.
Just keep scamming us. Your whole life is
The jury saw photos of her bruised face. Her defense tried to paint her as a victim, manipulated and abused, claiming Isaiah had used her phone during the setup. It was a powerful angle, and maybe it explained why a pregnant woman would participate in a murder plot.
If you think your boyfriend loved you, your boyfriend knew that you in this. He knew. He's smart on these things.
But the evidence was too strong. She'd been following Foolio. She'd shared her location. She'd helped book the airbin. Even if Isaiah controlled her, she knew what was happening. Alicia was facing life in prison for first-degree murder.
I can tell you right now, with the statement you're giving us, you're going to be in prison. And you're never going to come out of it. You're never going to see the outside of prison.
When that verdict came back, it was split. Manslaughter guilty, conspiracy to commit murder not guilty. She dodged the life sentence, but she's still looking at serious time. Manslaughter carries up to 15 years, and the judge can add more, depending on aggravating factors. Foolio's mother wrote a victim impact statement asking for the maximum 15 years plus 10 additional.
Give her the max. I'm writing my impact statement here to give her the max. Give her the max plus add 10 years onto it. Yeah. Let's do that.
She wants Alicia to pay for the role she played in taking her son. Alicia's chapter is closed, but this story isn't over. The actual shooters, including Isaiah Chance, go to trial in 2026, and their situation is going to be way worse. They're looking at life, potentially death penalty, depending on how the prosecution plays it. And who knows what other evidence is still sitting in evidence lockers, waiting to surface. More phones, more videos, more texts that prove just how deep this conspiracy really went. This was a calculated hit that went from Jacksonville to Tampa, tracked by technology every step of the way. Everyone involved left a digital trail, and now they're all paying for it. Alicia Andrews helped orchestrate one of Florida's most high-profile rap murders. She thought she could play a role and stay in the shadows. Instead, she's facing decades behind bars, and the shooters she helped are next in line. This is what happens when street beef meets social media, when diss tracks turn into death warrants, and when loyalty costs you everything. Julio Foolio's murder wasn't just a tragedy, it was the inevitable result of a war that nobody won. And for Alicia Andrews, she learned the hardest way possible. Even if you're not the one pulling the trigger, you can still end up doing the time.